Welcome to the Hidden Gems Basketball Podcast, the place that leaves you with a gem after every episode. And I am your host, Jordan Richard, co-founder and CEO of Switch Coaches. We got my co-host, Ray McCallum, 4-year NBA vet and 7-year pro. And before we get to our next guest, there's been a lot of spicy talk going on. Especially during All-Star, especially about, the G League Ignite. But I'm going to introduce, to you guys our next guest. His name is John Jenkins, 6-year NBA vet, played overseas for several seasons, and he's currently on the G League Ignite. Weren't you shooting 50, 40, 90 at one point, bro?
Yep, something like that. 50, 90.
Oh, 50, 90. Hold on. Yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. We got to get it right.
Get that right.
We got to get it right. Yeah. We just
want is killing me.
Yeah, bro. But, welcome to the show. Appreciate you, taking the time, being on the show with us, dog. You already family, so appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, family for sure, man. I've known Ray forever, over a decade, and since you came to Vegas, man, we've been getting a lot of talk going on between me and you about what's been happening with Ignite. But I appreciate you guys as always.
No, for sure. So let's get straight to it, John. So last week during All-Star Weekend in Indiana, Adam Silver addressed the media with a major headline, saying that the NBA is going to reassess the G League Ignite in the wake of NIL. And for the listeners, I will read off a quote that he said. He said, "I'm not sure what the future of Team Ignite will be, because before there was a hole in the marketplace that we were fulfilling. Before doing that, and now my focus is turning to early development of those players." Now, when you're at home during the break, like, what's the first thing that came to your mind? What was going on with the program Ignite, like when you guys heard this?
Yeah, I was at home, man. I saw it on Twitter, and sometimes on Twitter it could be a non-verified account that says something that's not true. So once I read it, I did some more digging, and I saw it's actually a true statement. I was just surprised, honestly. In my opinion, we've done a great job with developing, especially for guys from day one to now. Like, if you would see some of these players when they first come into Ignite, and then to see them now heading into March, it's a total 360 of how they think the game, play the game. Their bodies have changed, and all in a short amount of time. So, and especially this year, it's no secret we're supposed to have at least 4 to 5 first-round picks. So, from one program, I think that ties the Kentucky record. Forgot what year that was, 2010 maybe. And so, the timing was a little weird, but obviously it's his program. It's Adam Silver's program. So whatever he wants to do is going to go. But I have a few things that I don't like about what he said, but it is what it is, man. I'm on the team and I'm there every day, so I see things a lot differently.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about it in the past for years. You talk about how good development is, and what obviously you can bring to the table by being there and giving your experience. But so, like, he also gets in depth talking about, like, now there's almost 30% of the players in the NBA were born outside the USA, and he's talking about how some of these guys in Europe and other places in the world, they don't focus on playing so many games at a younger age, and it's more about development and skill development, and that he wants to do that for the youth basketball in America. So you being there every day, it's like, that's basically what you guys do, like, kind of give us like what a day looks like in the development process for these kids.
It starts early. I mean, for me being a vet that's been there the longest, just 2 years, I have to set the tone for how every day starts. So I'm up at 6 a.m., get my mind and body prepared for the day. And then there's certain guys throughout the season that came with me to the gym 3 hours before practice starts, and we get shots up. So if practice is at 10:30, I'll be there about 7:30 for sure. And then I'll get there. We have a TV in the locker room, and I always have either a player or a game that they should watch. I put it on the TV. One day it might be Kobe. One day it might be EuroLeague Final Four. Like, it's always some kind of game that I want them to watch, because this generation doesn't watch as much basketball as we did coming up. So I put that on the TV. Usually it's either Madish, Ron, or Dink, or sometimes Tyler. They'll be there early with me, and we'll go to the weight room, get our prep work in. Lift takes about an hour or so, then straight to the court to get our on-court work in before practice. Then treatment for 30 minutes. more shots or ball handling if you need it, and then practice is always 2 hours. And Jordan was there. He saw a pretty good week of what we do. We're running sprints every day, calling the sevens. So it's 7 touches, and we might do that 5 times. And that's to start the practice. That's after we do the 3-man weave and all that stuff to get loose and warm. And then straight to the sevens and then straight to practice. So like this is every day. So it's hard, but these guys, like I said, they've built their bodies to a point to where they're able to withstand everything that comes with a pro game. And that's part of the reason they came to Ignite.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to me because I feel like I got like 4 outlooks now. You know, playing overseas in the beginning, now doing the media, you know, doing high school, doing college and NBA at the same time with media. And you know, I went to G League Ignite, and you know, I was like a player there, to be honest with you guys. Like, Norris gave me his apartment for 6 days. I was there for 6 days. I was that player that didn't play, low key. So, like, I got a chance to really experience, you know, the Ignite. And honestly, bro, I was really impressed. And I feel like, honestly, like, this ain't here, like, for me to be biased. Like, the NBA needs to keep the Ignite. Number one is because I start thinking about my time overseas. Every time we play overseas, John and Ray, you can attest, you have 2 younger players on your team that are pros. That's number one. I don't think people realize that you have, you know, those pros that are 16 years old who don't really play, who are on the team and develop. Then they also play games too as well. So they'll develop. For instance, there's a guy on Ray's team who's on Panathinaikos, but also plays with and practices with you guys. Correct?
Yeah,
That's
he's
just,
on the loan. Yep.
that's what I'm saying, and like that's kind of like, you know, the thing that I thought of when Adam Silver brought up the development piece. But you know, just going on into the development piece of the Ignite, I watched Mataz and Ron, you know, at McDonald's before they even got to Ignite, so I've seen their development process. Number one, if you would have told me that Ron was going to show all this offensively, I probably wouldn't have said no, to be honest with you. Ron has shown tremendous development offensively to the point, like, I was like, yo, I didn't know he had all of that, like, that he has. And even though if you look at the percentages and stuff like that, like, when you talk to him, he knows what role and stuff that he has to be in the NBA too as well. He brings up guys like Mikal Bridges starting off, Drew Holiday. He not saying that he's going to be Luka or, you know, Devin Booker when he comes into the NBA. He knows, you know, that when he comes to the NBA, he has different roles, but he's just a dog out there, and he's showcasing some different development and pieces. And then we get to guys like Matas, you know, who's also a top pick. I'm just bringing up those 2 right now because I know they had a big magnifying glass, you know, big scope on them. Like when they came into this, you know, I talked to him for a long time. And he was just talking about, you know, how defenders wall up, how, you know, everybody's stronger, how he got to make moves when defenders wall up, different things that he has to learn and develop. Also, the 3-point line is further back. So he was talking about like being from high school, going to the NBA, and the high school line being further back, and then being able to shoot the 3. Like, it's just different elements. And then like those 2 I bring up because I didn't realize how close those 2 were too. I'm thinking like it's gonna be like Survivor, like it's gonna be some type of blood, like they're not gonna like each other. But I realized that all you guys are family. Like, you know, me and John, you know, people will see the episode. Like, we went to the house. The players just walking in, making themselves comfortable, putting their food in the microwave, like it's their house. Like, and those elements I didn't have overseas. That's why I started that. I didn't just go to all my teammates' spots, you know, and my young boys to just pull up to me over my crib every day. John, you on FaceTime with these guys every single day, you know, even if you're in Atlanta with your family or wherever, that's like a piece of home. And I think it's good because in the NBA, all these young guys are coming in. They don't have no vets to actually teach them the ropes. Here, you got a spot where you're actually having vets be able to teach them. You, Norris, Gabe York, all NBA guys that have played and been there, and you guys have a close unit. So it's so much I can talk about day and day about this G Ignite situation, but it just shocked me. And then all these comments people got to say who ain't even been there, it's been crazy to me. I'm sorry for going on the rant, but I just had a little bit to say real quick. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my thing too, man. With everybody piling on after he made the statement, Adam Silver, and it's like I said it to you the first time we talked about it. Is like I've never seen any of these guys at a practice. They might be at a game, but they're not. A game is setup is way different than a practice setup, and you know, it's condensed workouts, it's getting ready for a game. But nobody's ever spent 6 days like you did to come see what Ignite was really about. But then they write all these articles about how we're not developing, we're not doing this, and it just doesn't make any sense, because that's like me reading that's like me seeing their article on Twitter, and before I even open it, I say it sucks. I ain't read the article yet. How I know it sucks? Like it just doesn't it doesn't make sense. So I made a couple comments on people's I just like the shaking my head emoji on somebody's profile. Like I'm just saying whatever. Just I mean, don't chase clout. I mean, just chase the facts, and you chase the facts, and I really appreciate you for doing that. It meant a lot to everybody in the program that you came and just watched, and you know, was really able to see what we go through every day. And the statement that I was kind of confused about was the reassess. That's like the key word, I feel like, in this whole thing, is I don't know what that means. That could mean just a few tweaks. That could mean he goes away from the program altogether. And there's no real clarity right now on what that means. So I think as a program, we're just waiting to see. But we're still coming every day and putting our work in, being pros about it. The coaches and the staff doing the same exact thing. And like you said, man, it shocked me, and it still has shocked me. But our job is to keep these guys prepared and ready, because I think a lot of things will change June 26th if we get these 4 to 5 first round picks. I mean, what can you say after that? What can you write after that? After writing BS previous months before that, what can you say if we tie draft history?
Yeah.
So,
I got some stuff to ask you. You know, John. Number one, can you please let people know how competitive the G League is? We're not thinking about. You can't think about the G League over the last couple of years. That's number one. And the D League. So if you're thinking D League, guys, listeners, it's way different from the D League. It's way different from the G League a couple of years ago. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. This year, you guys played against the CLS Stars. You know, that's the Utah's team. They had 3 picks that were number 1 picks in the last 2 years playing with you guys on top of the G League players. You had Taylor Hendricks, Bryson Saba, and Josh Christopher, on top of the guys that are former pros that are playing in the G League. This is a common thing that you see now. It's not like it was before where, you know, there'll be a guy sprinkled here and there, you know, who didn't make it. No, these are guys who were our draft picks in their rookie season of the NBA playing against them. That's number one. But, you know, John, I want to ask you, you know, 6-31 season, I know people look at that and people don't realize you guys have 8 prospects on this team. I think it's 7 or 8. What are some things that you know you could say about number one, the 6-31? Because I know people always bring that up, even though they're not really thinking about how competitive nature it is. Having 8 prospects, which is a lot. Maybe we need to bring that down. Let's just be honest. Probably need to bring that down. And then, you know, 2, just, you know, the prospects, and then the amount, like the 6-31 you could just talk about.
Yeah, and I think the majority of all this is going on is because we're 6-31. I think if we were 31-6, there's nothing being said at all. Only good things maybe. I think it's tough either way, because if we do try to go for all these wins, that probably means that the vets are doing most of the bulk of the work. And so why would we have a young program for guys to develop if the vets are doing everything? There is a balance that needs to be had, and maybe we do have too many young guys, but with the track record that we had in the past, how could you not at least try to do it? Because everybody's got drafted last year. We have 4. So maybe 8 was too much. I think it's 7, not including Dink, who's a two-year guy. But we had too many guys wanting to come after how we had 4 guys drafted last year, and we just didn't want to turn them down. But this thing is still very young. So Ignite is a very young program. So it's 3 or 4 years in now. And so we're going to have to, you know, make mistakes to get better. That's just any corporation, any program. Every college does the same thing. But for some reason, whenever we do something, it's just been magnified to the max. But you said it, though, in the beginning, the G League is better than ever. I've said it to everybody, and they just think that I'm just saying stuff. And I know it was an all-star game, but the G League team did beat the NBA team in the all-star game. I don't know if people really wanted us to remember that, but that did happen. And our 18-year-old small forward hit the game winner on a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Hold on, let me.
So like, and I know it's an all-star game. People probably wasn't playing that hard, but I mean, the G League is no joke. The 3 two-ways changed everything. Our first 5 games of the year, I think we got it chartered or whatever. We played against. They always started their 3 two-ways and then maybe brought somebody down from an affiliate, or you know, we played against 5 NBA players every game. no college is doing next is impossible to do. And it's unfortunate that these guys go against top talent and then we're losing because they're really good players. And even the guys that aren't on an NBA team are probably college All-Americans, so or first team conference players. Like nobody is a nobody is sorry in the G League now. It's just what it is. The bench you can go platoon system if you want to in the G League and take 5 in, 5 out. There's no drop off. And so you cannot look at these 18-year-old, 17-year-old guys and think they're supposed to beat up on college All-Americans and NBA players that's been in the league for 2 or 3 years. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. So,
you said some good things about, this isn't going to happen in college. You kind of compare some things in college. What would you say the biggest benefit of going to the Ignite instead of going to college? What do you think it is?
Throwing yourself in that deep water right away. I feel like, we're all college products, so I love college. Without college, I'm not who I am. But I didn't have this program at my dispense either coming out. And I was a 5-star, but I don't know if I'd even been ready for this at all. The biggest thing for me is being thrust into a pro right away. And we have to hold their hand a little bit in the beginning, but now it's just in February, like you're treated like a pro, live like a pro. And there's so many things in college that made it tough for me in my pre-draft process that I had to adjust to. It's like the ball is different. The 3-point line was different. I'm a shooter and I still struggle from the NBA 3 my first couple months in my pre-draft workouts. The spacing on the floor, the style of play, the physicality, everything's different. So these guys didn't have the luxury of going to college and getting that maybe stepping stone. They jumped over college and went to this. So that's saying a lot, man. But nobody's looking at the G League the way they should, and that's the biggest problem in my opinion, because they looked at the G League as a league that's getting better and better, that has mostly NBA guys playing in every game. Then you look at us losing in a totally different way, because there's no way that a college team, the number one college team, I don't know who's number one right now, if it's still UConn or whatever, they're not going 20-10 or whatever in a G League. It's just not happening. And I think I wish this would happen, but I know it'll never happen because it's not good for both sides probably. But right now we're all-star break. Take the best 5 or best 8 college players and play against our best 8, and let's see who wins. No vets, all young guys. And I guarantee it will get crazy in there, because they're so used to playing against grown men. Yeah, so, of course, right. And then they're going to say, oh, they're supposed to win because they're playing against grown men. So which one is it, man? Like, they're the same age as your peers, but they decided to take a route that's very unconventional, that's very tough. Because I know me and Jay knows, he was there. I'm hard on these dudes. I'm not letting these dudes off the hook for nothing, on or off the court. So they're having to be a pro and be held accountable and just like college, you held accountable for sure, trust me. But this is a little bit different. And, I think when they get up there, it won't be. My goal was when they get up there that nobody calls me or says, oh, what's so-and-so? He didn't really perform like he thought he was going to be. I want them guys to be prepared on all levels. That means on the court and off the court. So,
yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And like Jordan and I always have this debate about exposure, right? So, John, tell me, you went to the league after 2 years?
3.
Or did you go 3? Okay. So, think about the time when we were coming out of school, right? It was like, oh, if you stay 3 or 4 years, it's like,
start labeling you.
They start labeling you, right? It's like, oh, we've seen him too many times. They start creating a narrative. So, Jordan and I will always joke about, Luka, right? When he was over in Spain, he's a EuroLeague MVP of the Spanish League, ACB, all the accolades, and teams were still, questioning, I don't know, right? And they saw everything they could in one season. And I feel like sometimes with these young kids now, it's like, even with Ignite, some of these guys, I feel like people are labeling these kids. They've just seen them so much. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because now it's like before you could be a junior and a senior in college. You're too old. We've seen you too many times. Now it's like you see a kid play 50 games, 40 games, whatever it is in the G League that they're playing. And it's like, oh, we've seen him too many times. But the kid who's playing, 8 games in college, but broke his foot, or maybe didn't play a game in college and breaks his foot, can't play the whole season, still gets drafted in the first round. Just talk to me a little bit that exposure process, because you went through it in college. I went through it myself coming out my junior year. Just kind of break that down to I don't know, the game's changed. Now they want young guys. You got to be 17, 18, 19. 21 is is too old now? Like, kind of just break that whole process down for us.
Yeah, I know, especially when we were coming out, 4-year guys, I was like, man, you probably not gonna get drafted. Even if you were All American Player of the Year, like you going second, that's probably second round.
Yeah.
Like it's just what it was. I don't know why like, it was like that at that time, but it's just what it was. So when I decided to come out, my thought process was because of that. I was I can't come back because I was 4-year guy. They're gonna start really labeling me and say I'm too old to do this and that. So I left, and I was supposed to be. My range was 25 to 35, so it was just it could have been in either way. And I had to just go crazy in workouts to solidify the first round. But you're right, man. Like at night we played 50 games, 55 including the preseason games we had in Singapore and against the Australian team Perth. So yeah, people and they're scouts at every game. So yeah, they look at it. They probably over evaluate at times because they see him so much. And guys like Tyler Smith was really stuck out this year. He's benefited off of it, but some guys don't. So it's tough, man. It's the same thing in college at times, even though it's less games. But the more you see a guy on TV and this and that, you just don't appreciate their ability to play as much. And I think that's just what it is. That's just the young movement is real, and it's almost like it's better to play 15 to 20 and go crazy and shut it down. And so the intrigue and mystery is still there than to just play it all out like we want to. So it's a lot of things we could change, man. I do agree with Adam Silver about the model that the Europeans have over there about their development system, but they have club teams and junior teams. If we do that, that means there's no draft anymore because they just call them up they just work their way up to the bigger team that they're affiliated with, and so that's not going to work. We're never going to not have a draft. So while I agree that we could get better in America on developing players, I just don't know which route we could take. I'm not too sure how Ignite would be messing that up, if anything.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ray. Did you have something else, Ray?
No, that's it. That's it.
I know you look at a lot of AU games, Jay, and I mean,
I was
is
just
AU
about.
the problem?
I was just. Hey, I was just about to get into this because I'm about to push this button too, real quick. I'm pushing the money sound because you know what? After being in high school, man, I had to take my chip out when we was playing. I had to throw that in the garbage. Bro, these kids don't want to go to college, bro. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I don't really hear kids tell me that, yo, I'm gonna go to Duke, I'm gonna go to North Carolina, I'm gonna go here. Like, remember how when we were growing up, like you would hear more people talk about their dream school, where they're gonna go to. Now, all I hear about is league, money, NIL, more money, and more NIL. And that's just, how we're talking. And I'm like, if we don't keep the Ignite, do you know how messy this situation is gonna get? I mean, we already have a lot of different places that have their own leagues, more places that have NIL, a lot more parents as freshmen in high school are signing with agencies. They're already pros now. Like, honestly, essentially, when you think about it, like, and then I talked to an agent and he made a valid point. I was like, what's the difference between, when guys were able to come out of high school into the NBA compared to now? He was like, when they were going out of high school to the NBA, we couldn't sign them now. Now, like, you sign them from the start right here, whereas you have to wait until they officially declared till we could sign them. Of course, there might have been some stuff happening under the table, but now, like, when I look at all the lists, like even on 2026, all their top kids are signed. And we talking about pro stuff. We're not talking about college. We're not talking about none of that. Like, and I look at the Ignite, and you brought up a great name. There's two names that I think that people should really focus on. I think Babacar and them are gonna have their chance to go up too, but Tyler Smith and Dink Pate are like prime examples. Tyler Smith, I saw him at Iverson Classic during April, and I was like, dang, like this kid pretty good. Then all of a sudden he signs to the Ignite, and if you talk to Tyler, he'll tell you like in high school, he was a sophomore, like as a sophomore year, he was one of the top players in the country. But I feel like that buzz died down a little bit. Then when he comes back here to the Ignite, shoots 40 from three, now the buzz is at all time high. Lottery conversation, like, he's cooking up, and the next thing, I've never seen a spot put guys into the rising stars like the NBA has. And like, we seen Dyson Daniels, who was a 29th rejected pick. He goes to Rising Stars. Then he goes top 6 or top 7, excuse me. Then now Matas goes in there. People have their questions. goes in there, hits the game, went over Brandon Miller. Now stuff changing, you know? So like there's so many different elements that we see, but I think before it needs to be reassessed and stopped, you need to really go into AAU, because AAU is turning into a complete different form of hoops that people have not seen before, because parents now, that's all they're talking about. Like there's basically a transfer portal in AAU. You can go to three different programs in AAU. I've seen people leave in the middle of the game and say, you know what, I'm out of here, transfer and go to another spot, because the whole focus is going to the NBA. Honestly, it's not about going to college, because all these kids feel like, man, I'm going to college easy. But I think there's just so many elements that needs to be talked about, and people need to be on the surface and really monitor. Get the clipboard out, get whatever you need, you know, what type of analytics and stats, but also see this stuff live. You can't go somewhere and watch game film. I always say that. You got to see stuff live and be there live before you can really start talking about things, because you see it from afar, that doesn't do it for me, you know? And y'all can say whatever. I could go on a rant for days about this, but I'm just really passionate about all the stuff that I've seen and being able to mesh it all into one.
Yeah, man. I think you came at a great time too. We needed you to be there because now with all this going on, we had nobody to really fight for us. Like I saw a couple articles talking about how we've hurt some guys' stock and stuff, but guys rise and fall on every college team or whatever. This happens every year. Like this is not just
For
Ignite.
sure.
Guys rise and fall every year. I was a riser. Some guys were fallers. Like it's just how it happens. So why are we getting the blame for everything that's going on with the culture or whatever basketball AAU when all we're doing is putting guys in the first round and getting guys drafted and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very confusing time right now. I hope it's more clarity. And I think the stuff that you are going to put out, especially the apartment video, all that, it just lets you know that we're a real family, and like guys aren't here just to do their 8 months and go to the league. No, dudes is really taking every day trying to get better. So hope people see that and realize that, like, man, this program is doing a lot of big things. And while it's not the college model, it's another model that works, another avenue for guys to come and get better.
I have a question for both of you two. The vet situation, you know, I think is very key for this, for the Ignite, especially. We've all had conversations with players, and I know you guys had your thought process with it. I know a lot of vets kind of question, number one, the playing time. That's why you don't see, y'all can honestly get all the top vets if y'all really want to, you know. But a lot of them question whether or not, like, oh, if I get there, is it the end of my career? A lot of people look at that as the Ignite as like it's the end, kind of. I think if we could find some way to change that, you know, in terms of like the thought process and playing time, I think they're starting to do a good job. If you look at Gabe York, you know, Norris, you know, Frazier, everybody else is starting to get 30 minutes a game. Whereas before, people were like nervous, like, man, shoot, I'm not going to play one game. I'm not going to do this. Like, what's been the thought process with you guys in terms of the vets and having, like, you know, what's their thought process going forward with this?
Want me to go first, Ray?
Yeah, you got to go for sure.
I went into Ignite thinking the same thing. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what to expect, but I did know what I'm about and how I practice and how I try to lead young guys and my everyday habits. I knew that it would bring some kind of value, whether it be playing 25 plus minutes or whether it be playing 16 to 18. I knew I was going to be valuable doing something. So, and this is where Coach Hart comes into it. Like before I went to Ignite, I finished in France with Ray, and everything was cool and all, but like I was kind of still like, man, I want to go somewhere I can just like be me fully, like not have to like worry about certain things. And so coming to Ignite, I kind of was like, I took a risk, took a chance on a situation. I knew they had Scoot, and Scoot being from Atlanta, and London Johnson also coming over. I had some guys that I really wanted to help and see through with. But for individually, man, like I knew it hadn't been any call ups from a vet before from Ignite. So you know, that was kind of tough. That was one of my big questions going there, how that would work. Are we even allowed to get called up? Which is, you are allowed to. That is a real thing. And I just didn't know what to expect. But as the first practices and the first months went by, man, it was just, I told Coach, I've said it in multiple interviews, but also told him to his face, like, he probably saved my career. Like, and this is another part of Ignite that people are not even talking about is for vets. Like, sometimes we don't want to go overseas and be gone from our family for 10 months. Like I got three kids. I can't go over there for 10 months while they're in school here. It's just too much. So while I'm not playing Atlanta, I'm close enough where if I need to get home, I can get home. So uh, and that's a whole other topic right there we could talk about. But Coach Hart and the staff, man, they let me have a role. I've never not started a game for Ignite. Man, that's pretty cool. And I take my role and job very seriously to help these guys reach their dreams, but also so I can still play too. So our bets, yeah, we want to get called up. We got there to get called up. We know it's not the main priority, but yeah, the numbers I've had the past 2 years, I think I should have been called up. I don't know if these teams know that we can or not. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews, but if we get one guy called up this year or next year, or whatever, I think the floodgates open and bets would just be dying to come here. I think that's the only thing they worry about is, like you said, if I come here, am I done? And I believe that's not the truth because I've had my best years being here.
Right.
Yeah, and I got to say, I feel like John should be the first, and hopefully he can go in history as the first Ignite player to get the call up. The numbers show itself. He's been doing it for the last 2 years. And John can kind of vouch for me here because I think you can look at it two ways, right? For Ignite, because I had an opportunity to do it the first year. It was Jalen Green, Jonathan Kaminga, that class. It was in the bubble, and I do regret it because I had the opportunity to go there, play with them, and I ended up going a different path. And I went with another team, and it was totally different, situation. I look at it like for John, that's someone who's married, he's got a family, he can stay home. A lot of guys don't want and still be able to play at a high level and being on the Ignite can still be making a good salary, right? And for myself, like I don't have a family, I don't have all those things. So for me, I can come overseas, But then at the same time, there's also the aspect too, like you look at Pooh Jeter. I think John, you played with him last year. It's a guy who's a little older in his career. Obviously, he has a family, he wants to be home, but just the relationships and the connections that you are going to have and the people you're going to meet. You got scouts and GMs and the decision makers of the league that are in there every day. And I think it just can help you not only just on the court, but off the court. It can set you up for your career after basketball. You see with Pooh, what is he, the assistant GM or GM of the Portland Trailblazers G League team and player development coach with the Portland Trailblazers. So like some of these things you don't just get from being a former player and coming overseas and being over here 8 years. And then it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm retired. I'm going to go back home. What am I going to do next? So I just feel like with the Ignite, the resources you can have, just also being another veteran player can open up, major doors for you, being part of the program, I think.
Yeah, but we got to just be the devil's advocate. Like some dude is there. Like, bro, F all them connections, bro. I want to hoop.
No,
I want to get in the L. So, like, we got to talk to them vets. Like, if you're a vet that says, look, I got a chance to come to the Ignite. I don't care about connections. I'm trying to come to the NBA. Is that a spot for you? Like, after now, like, with the reassess and everything, do you feel like that's the question?
Okay.
Like,
I mean, like, for me, them saying reassessing it, the whole case, like, that wouldn't change anything for me. Mm-hmm. Like, right? Like, it depends what do you want out of it, right? I don't think you want to go in the Ignite with the mindset, like, I'm coming in here trying to kill and get called up. Like, yeah, you can kind of, like, yes and no. Like, there's pros and cons to it. Like, it's probably the best situation you can get in the G, right? I mean, the living situation, you're in Vegas, you're probably being treated, you're being treated as if you're the 31st team in the NBA. You have access to everything. You got the gym, it's pretty much the whole NBA lifestyle without being on one of the, biggest teams in the league, and you're with some young players, and it's only going to be on the rise. I mean, John can tell you you were just there. They got the arena, they're building facilities, they have all the amenities, everything that you can need, I think, in terms of that. And then, yes, at the same time, you never know what can happen. You can go in there and kill and get the call up, and then at the same time, you can also, like I said, have the approach of, I'm not sure what Pooh's approach was. I can't speak on his behalf, but I'm just using him as an example. Jared Jack played there the season before, I think, and a year or two later, now he I don't know if he's still with the Suns, but now he's in the NBA coaching. You know what I mean? So those are two guys who were veteran players, played in the NBA, had great careers, long careers, pretty much finished their career with the Ignite, and then now they, have great jobs in the league. And then you got a guy like John who's still young, healthy, and shooting 50, 50, 90, who should get called up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just only a matter of time before he gets called up or someone's able to follow his footsteps and hopefully be the first one from Ignite to get the call up as a veteran player.
Yeah, that's my mission for sure. And if it's not me, just somebody to break the seal so we can open the floodgates and have a real team. Because we get the right vets in here, we can really make a run. And I know now, especially, the program wasn't about winning, but the way people were talking, it really is now. Because, like I said, if we were 30-10, whatever, nobody would be saying a word. So that's what I'm confused on. What do we want to do? Are we going to try to win now? Because that's what maybe Adam Silver wants. He wants to see a better product, which probably means winning. Or do you want to see young guys come in the league more prepared? Like, I don't know which one he wants from us, but I think with more vets, we could do both. So, and you said it too, like when you're done playing, I'm still in player mode, at least for another 4 or 5 years. But if I'm still with Ignite and this whole thing goes the way it's supposed to go, hopefully I can go into a assistant GM job the way Pooh did, or I can be player development somewhere. Like that's been the goal for me. But there's, like I said, there's teams and scouts at every game, so we talk to them every day. And I've been offered jobs as early as 3 years ago to do front office stuff. So it only is going to enhance my ability to walk right into something when I'm done.
Yeah. Nah,
Sure.
yeah, and I want people to know this. Number one, as a rookie all the way down, you should be making connections and building up your resume to be able to have, you never know what might happen. I thought I was going to play forever. I got hurt. Like, you never know what might happen. So I'm just saying that. Like, in terms of Ignite, the connections, all that is there. I think if I could give any type of feedback, I would say that more than development, I think the development is there. Especially off of being there. I think focusing on the vets, I think, is the key for this Ignite situation because honestly, after seeing all the hate and all these people come out of nowhere that I know aren't there and all that, like, it feels like we overseas. We talking about the winning, like all that. That's what it feels like, right? Like, so, like, if you guys want us to win, we can turn up and get some W's. But like, then that's gonna be like, okay, we're gonna have to make We're gonna have to make it even more exclusive to get in Ignite. We might have 3 or 4 young guys come
Young
in.
guys.
Yeah, and then just max vets that are just cold-blooded. And then y'all gonna really feel the whole overseas environment that everybody's talking about because when Luka was on his team in Real Madrid, we were just gonna bring that up since we talking about the top guys. We ain't going down. He had Sergio Llull, Rudy Fernandez. He got all the top guys, top big dogs overseas. So if y'all really want it to be like that, then I bet. Let's bring all the best players from the G League, put them on the Ignite, then have our best 3 guys that are, the development guys, and put them together. That's how you really want to build it up. Then we're going to see all the W's and all that stuff happen, and then this is going to be tough for people to get in, the young boys. That's the only thing I could see that that needs to be tweaked. If I were to give any type of suggestion, would be that because everyone is so focused on this winning stuff right now. I mean, because that's what everyone's bringing up, the 6-31. That could get changed in a heartbeat, but is that what people want at the end of the day? That's my question. So,
but see, that's to me that's kind of crazy because I mean, before it was the D League, which is the development league, it really wasn't about wins and losses, right? It was about developing players, getting better, sending your guys down who were young players not getting minutes to go down there and develop. So I don't know. I just feel like John said, because of the record, maybe that, the negative energy is kind of coming out. One person says it turns into clickbait and, people taking it run. They love a negative story. But, to say something on the positive side, like I think this is the 3rd or 4th year of the G League. Like I mentioned earlier, Kuminga, Jalen Green, some guys are coming into their own now, a couple years into the NBA. Your boy Scoop, number 2 pick in the draft last year, figuring it out now as a rookie. You touched on it earlier. Talk about this draft class that you guys have coming up in history that they can make for the Ignite.
Yeah. So I think you might have to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure if we get 4 first rounders, we tie the draft record that Kentucky had in 2010 with John Wall and those guys. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Could be 5, but either way, we're going to be right there with them. And I think if that happens, in only our 3rd year of existence, like how could you reset the program if it's going that well? Like, I do know he said a statement about guys not being prepared when they get into the NBA as far as defensively and stuff. I did read that. all these things with situations, it just matters about fit. Like Scoot wasn't thrust in the same situation that Brandon Miller's in, and Scoot was behind Malcolm Brogdon and Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe. Now Shaedon Sharpe is hurt, Malcolm Brogdon is hurt, and since then he's had like 2 30-point games, all these crazy games, and it's just like it wasn't about how good he was; it's about situation, opportunity, and we both know that. All three of us know that. Like this whole thing of basketball and probably other more sports too is about the opportunity you get, and then I've seen it click with Scoot. Even in the All-Star game, the Rising Stars game, he made a great move, got to the cut. He's just more confident now. You can just see a total difference between him last year and this year. And people just got to have patience, man. Man, he's been in the league for 4 or 5 months. What do you want him to do? Beat Chris Paul right away? Like, it's just not going to happen, man. Like, when you're on a team with other vets that need the ball too, you got to find your way. And now that it's turning the corner, I think he's gonna I'm not worried about Scoot at all. Scoot's the hardest worker I've ever seen at that age. Discipline and the approach he had to the game. That's one guy I'm never gonna be worried about. But the young guys we have now have the same mentality. And Ron Holland don't turn 19 until after the draft. And he averaged 20 points a game at 18 years old against grown men. I think he was like top 5 in steals. He guards the best player every game. Don't back down from nobody. Improving offensive game. Just a complete dog. And so for him to drop is just ridiculous to me, because what guy in college, maybe 1 or 2 guys maybe could average 20 in G League right now. I don't know anybody. It's not even supposed to be a scorer. Ron, like you said, Ron wants to be Mikal Bridges his first few years in the league. Not Mikal Bridges now, but the Mikal Bridges when he first got there. He wants to be that guy to start off and work his way up. He's not saying he wants to be this top dog right away. He knows it's going to be a process, but he was asked to score more on our team this year, and he was able to do it at 18 years old. And then Modest has gotten bigger, stronger, more confident. I think this All-Star weekend was the perfect coming out party for him, for everybody to see. He's serious. He's not scared of nobody. He ain't backing down from nobody. He guards top 4 men. The 4 position is tough. In NBA, G League, overseas, the 4 position is really tough. He guards all the 4s, goes at them, don't care who you are. He might have played against 5 G League players at the 4 position all year. I swear everybody they bring down, against Ignite, is always a 4-man. He's probably played against only 5 G League players this whole year. Nobody's talking about that. Everybody's played against real NBA dudes that had to come down to get some reps. And then Tyler is shooting hell at the ball, man. He's shooting 40% at 6'10", and he's athletic. He's super athletic. Like, dude can do all the between the leg stuff and go reverse, all that stuff. And he's 6'10", pick and pop 4-man. And he's having breakout games. And it's only like 15 games left, and I'm sure he'll have another 30-point game later. And guys are just really improving, and so I'm just really confused on what all the craziness talk is. Like, I watch college basketball today. Guys are struggling. Guys are playing well. That's just what it is, man. When you play 50 games, this is our young guys' first time ever doing a back-to-back, traveling this much, practicing the way we practice. Back-to-backs are hard for me, and I'm doing it for a long time, a decade. So for them to be able to withstand all that and never complain, they never even bring up these conversations the guys are having. They just hoop, man. So I'm proud of Izzy coming from Spain, a whole different way of playing, whole different style. With Nika being hurt, he had to be the 5-man exclusively, which is probably not his position always, but he's done it, didn't complain, never said one thing. Averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds on a team that has quite a few scores. He still finds his way. And hopefully he was a first-round pick too. And I think with those, including Dink and Cherry, maybe next year, like, we could really make some noise as far as getting guys hot picks. And if it is about winning, we could do that. Trust me, we could do that. But if we start winning, they're going to start saying, oh, they got too much money over there. They're paying for everybody to come. And then it's a whole other topic. So if guys want us to start winning, I'm telling you, we can make that happen. We could really make that happen. But I know that's going to be a whole other topic we got to discuss. And then it's going to cause some more drama, and guys going to be typing all this other stuff. So how about y'all tell us what y'all want? So we can do whichever y'all want, we can do that. I promise you we can. We're more than capable of doing that. We had some guys that we could have got this year would have really went crazy in the G League, but they decided not to go a different way. But there's some guys that we could have had that would have made sure we were 30-6 this year. But we decided to focus on development, which is what it's about, rather than winning. So that's just what it is.
Hey, I've known John for, like he said, over a decade. And one thing, this man ain't never lied, bro. So Jay, he's speaking all facts right now. And he's
all right, well, we on the same page.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. I mean, you said everything you could. So
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. Obviously, I'm passionate about it. I'm glad we waited a while to do the podcast. I didn't want to get too out of character as it just came out, because I was getting upset with guys writing articles that they had never, like I said, they never even been there before. So y'all never even watch our games. Probably it's just not college, so they don't want it to be around because it's in the way of the king. Which, like I said, I went to college. I love college, but being a part of Ignite, I see how much guys get better here. And like Jay said, I'm on FaceTime with these dudes every night. Every night I'm on FaceTime with these dudes, talking about life, talking about the next step, talking about the draft, talking about teenage stuff I don't really understand, but I try to make it work. These guys look at me and they need me to be a leader and just be that big brother that I got to be. So when you're your brother's keeper, whatever you say, like, you're gonna take stuff like that personal, like, because I see the work they put in. Now, if they weren't working, I'd be like, you know what, y'all deserve to hear this because y'all ain't taking it serious. But no, that's so far from the truth. I know Jay is big on Dink, and our whole program is. He could be the #1 pick in the draft next year, and we talking about reassessing the program. What? We could really
Dink special.
Dink paid
Dink
is
special.
Come
Dink
on,
got
man.
some
Like,
stuff to him.
we can't.
Yeah.
It just took us by surprise, and I'm hoping that it was just a misunderstanding with the question or whatever, and how you worded it. But we have some guys, and I know some guys that want to come in the 2025, 26 class that want to come that are top picks too. So if people think the program isn't doing well, like, it's doing great. We just have to go through this little reassessing part. But we got guys wanting to come, and once we get these 4 first rounders, the following going to be off the hook for Adam Silver when have guys there. It's just what it is. Guys aren't going to know about our 6-31 record on June 26th. All they're going to see is we have 4 guys from the same program go first round. That's all these young guys and parents are going to care about.
Yep, and just, you said something. Number one, I didn't even get a chance to mention it. Shout out to Coach Hart. Number one, he has a great relationship with the players, no matter what the situation is, man. Coach Hart, like, he's been able to manage and balance having the kids, being, in terms of father figure, also being a coach, being the cool guy too, like, all that in one, and then being able to tolerate the vets. That's a job, like 4 or 5 jobs that you got to do all in one. He's done a great job in terms of doing all those elements, being tough on the guys, not being too soft, and talking to them real and to the point where they respect him. I have not been to a time where I've been around where these dudes, even from the start to finish, have not had the same respect level that they have. Usually when you go to a school, if you go in the beginning, middle, you're going to see something else. Like, this ain't the same person that I was with, like, that was recruiting me, Like, that hasn't changed, and I can honestly say that because I've been there, the whole time. And just speaking of Ron, too, like, we got to talk more about the defensive stuff he brings to the table. Everybody wants to talk about offense. Like, what 18-year-old in the G is averaging 2.6 steals, number one, and then 2, guarding the best players every night. But then I hear more about an ACC player that's down there doing this thing. Shout out to him on the defensive end. But I'm not hearing nothing about Ron Holland guarding the best players and being an animal and averaging 2.6 steals in the G. Maybe like you guys talked about before, maybe, they're a lot harder on these G League guys because, like,
Sure.
it just doesn't really make sense. And maybe they are seeing the guys too much. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why I don't hear about that, because I have those conversations all the time. I'm like, one thing that I know that's going to get Ron on the court, if you guys are worried about anything else, is that he's an animal and he's going to guard the best players on defense. That's how he's going to get on the court. Now, everything else, the dunks, all that, I'd say that's a bonus, because I know, and as a rookie, he's going to stay on the court because he's an animal and he guards. So, like, I know I could bet that one thing that's what's going to keep him on the court. And then you guys are going to see all the bonuses and stuff that y'all see with it, but it's just not really talked about, which is kind of weird. I mean, we just got to change that. It can't just be from me. I want it to be from everybody else too, to look at.
Guys aren't watching the game, man. They're not watching. They're looking at the box score. They're looking at hearing other people talk about it, and then forming their own opinion. If you watch the game, Ron, if anybody gets hot on us, whether it's a point guard or a center, he wants to guard them. If a center is getting hot on us, he wants to guard the center. Our coach isn't telling him to guard this guy the whole game. Ron's guarding whoever's hot. So it don't matter what position he's guarding them, and he's going to attack everybody. So 18 years old doing that, like that has to be talked about way more. He's dropped in a few things that I've seen on either as Javoni or whoever else. How could he drop? How? You say percentages. College guys aren't shooting good at all. I've seen the percentage from college guys. There's only a few college guys that are in the top 10 that are shooting that great a percentage. And then I'm being guarded by the long athletic wings the way he is. So, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I think it's just I think all in all, a lot of guys are lazy when it comes to evaluating the game.
Yeah.
Especially when they don't really like what's going on in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just waiting for one bad thing to be said and they just jump on it like they did with this. But if you actually go on Synergy, because it's not that hard to do, go to Ron's defensive clips and see how he moves his feet, see how he takes bumps to the chest from bigger guys, doesn't fall back. And like you said, he's like top 5 in steals. And it's not like he's really ripping dudes.
Yeah.
Like it ain't like he's just like playing free safety and like getting those types. So he's really mano, I'm taking the ball from you and then I'm going to dunk it. It's on that type time. So it's like for people not to, that alone should be top 3. That alone, not even counting him averaging 20 points a game. Like before he came here, like you saw him, it wasn't known that he could even do any of this offensively. His whole game was energy and defense before he got here. So the fact that he was able to balance both is scary, but then he drops still, like just, and I always tell the guys, because they look at it and they see it because they're on social media. They see them dropping or rising or whatever. I said, we don't care about what pick we get as long as it's the right fit. So I've got them believing in that. But as brother's keeper, I get upset because I see them guarding former college All-Americans, current NBA players. The guys in college are probably guarding guys that might not even hoop next year. They might be doing a corporate job somewhere, making big money. It might not be basketball in their cards. Everybody that Ron goes against is doing this for a living. It's a total difference. So, and that's down the line for everybody. We get everybody's best shot at night. It's no secret. We talked about it in the apartment thing we did with Shoot Jay, and like I let them see that. But guys are not laying down for us, and especially how was y'all? I mean, if a young guy was coming at you, you would try to destroy him too. So I get it, but they get everybody's best shot, and they're still coming out with great numbers and great play. So I couldn't be more proud of him, man. And then with Coach Hart, I've had NBA teams ask me about Coach Hart to be on their bench. So it ain't the coaching. Like our coaching staff is legit, like, and they give it all they got. So don't put it on them. Like I said, if they want us to start winning games, we could do that. And so if that's what people want to see, then prove a point, because we're all prideful and at Ignite. We want people to know that we really can hoop and we can do what we need to do to make this program go higher and higher. If we got to prove one year that we can just take over the league, we can do it. But then it's going to be a whole nother issue. So Coach Hart's amazing. Our young guys, are they perfect? No, not perfect. But from day one, which I saw them in August to February, nobody's gotten better than them. Nobody in college, nobody overseas has gotten better than them on a daily basis. So,
yeah, I mean, John, hey, we're rocking with you. We're rocking with Ignite all the way. Hopefully, like you said it a little earlier, hopefully just the comments were just taken a little out of proportion and just kind of misread a little bit. So hopefully everything stands and the program keeps on getting better and better. And, hopefully better days are coming soon for y'all, bro.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I know what we put in every day. And I know what these young guys are going to get out of it at the end of it. It's just unfortunate, but I do think it was a little bit out of context potentially. But like what me and Jay talked about earlier is just the piling on from those statements from every website. It's like I never even seen y'all at any game. Like, so it could have been just a statement and a few guys like Javoni said something, whatever. Like it's cool, but for every website to say something about something they don't really know about just to chase the clout is what I'm more upset with. So I just don't agree with what they're doing. But at the end of the day, that's not my focus. I got to focus on these young guys who only got a month left, less than a month, to make these guys the best they can be. And then it's on the pre-draft process. So.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you taking the time, bro. This conversation was a little steamy. I can't lie. At one point in the conversation, my light in the background started flickering. The light turned off, all type of stuff. I'm like, dog, someone behind me or something, dog? Like, I don't know if it was a scout or something. You mad about what we was talking about or what? But my light started flickering in the background. I was like, yo, like, But nah, I mean, I think all in all, I just, I want to end, like, for me, I would just say we got to keep the ignite. I think it's something that's big, especially the way basketball is, I'm going to keep reiterating this. Like, basketball is changing. It's not like how it used to be before. All these kids are telling pro, you need to really go down from 8th grade and 6th grade. I got people hitting me up talking about, bro, you gotta make a tape for me, man. I got this 6th grader, man. He gonna be an NBA player. He not talking about about going to Duke or North Carolina no more. Them times is done. Like, them kids and parents are thinking about pro right now, and they're thinking about the NIL money, all that. If you guys, I think that's why the Ignite's so important. People are gonna figure out how to, save their money, be pros, do it in the NBA way, and not do it in a bad way, which I think, and I'm not discrediting all the other leagues. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, that's what this can turn into if we don't fix it, to be honest. And if you're looking at overseas, there's pros that are 16 years old playing with Real Madrid as we speak right now. So why can't we do it with the Ignite? It's the same situation. Now, if y'all want to change it, like John said, if y'all want to win, they could win. Y'all gonna have to make up y'all mind, because I thought when we first had this conversation about this team, the main thing that was in bold, we don't care about wins and losses, but that's changed. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But I love the Ignite. I feel like it should be there and it should be here. I'll be heartbroken if it's not. I just think about Dink all the time, like, in terms of that, because you got a top 5 pick, and I see this dude growing and, becoming a star in his own right. We call him Mini Tupac, because he out there saying the Tupac tracks. Like, he's going to be a star in himself. Like, what does that do to him, And, like, I see Matas and all them, how prideful they are about it. If they didn't like this and didn't have a great experience, and I'm sure you could say the same thing to Scoot, they wouldn't fight and stick up for this, just knowing how this
Absolutely.
is. All them dudes are going to stick
point.
up for where they came from. So I think you need to talk to all those guys and all the young guys, and then you guys can have this conversation, because, like, I don't even think the conversation will be had, to be honest. So, it's just a whole bunch of, stuff that, I just wanted to get off my chest. I'm sorry about the mini rants, because I've seen all this just recently. So, I just kind of wanted to get some stuff off my chest. But, yeah, I rock with the Ignite. I rock with Coach Hart. I rock with, a lot of stuff that I've seen. So I think it's going to be something that's going to continue to rise, and, it's only going to get better up from here. It's going to take time. So, yep.
I agree, man. I hope I didn't get too out of character at times, because I'm with you, man. I love the program, and it's helped me in my career so much. And I just want Adam Silver, whoever else is involved with making sure it goes well. If we need to bring in 15, 16-year-olds to develop them better, like, I'm sure that could be discussed, and we could have our own little club farm system for young guys too. Like, that could go however they want it to go. We can make the adjustment. That's why I want everybody to know that we can make the adjustments however Adam Silver wants to make it. Like, we can make it happen. But if it's about winning, let us know. If it's about development, let us know. If it's about bringing in younger guys to develop, to enhance Americans playing basketball and they get to the NBA, then Ignite's the perfect program to do all of that.
Yep. Now, I appreciate you, Jay. Johnny Cash, as we should say.
Cash App.
Yeah, Cash App, Venmo, all of the above, Apple Pay. We going wireless. We don't even need to have the cards on. We got that too. So, I appreciate you joining us. Ray is actually in Greece too, by the way. I know it is super late over there. That's why you got the Nike sweatsuit on, because it's real late. You know what I'm saying? So he got his bad clothes on under there. He got the pajamas underneath that. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining us. You know what I'm saying? Especially from out there. And John, for real, man. Appreciate it, dog. Always fam. Shoot, we became fam on this trip, just recently. So
yeah,
appreciate you, dog. And make sure y'all look out for more content. We're going to drop on Swish, the pod here, Hidden Gems. Make sure you subscribe to that. But also, if you want to see a lot of G League Ignite content, which is coming out this week, go on Swish Coaches. You can go on to YouTube, any social media. Make sure you follow us on there too as well. Make sure you follow John Jenkins, His name is Johnny Cash 12. I didn't push the sound because that's his real name on IG, Johnny Cash 12. And we got Ray Mac 3 on IG too as well. Appreciate y'all, dog.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you,
it,
brother.
John.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We'll see.